Title. Welcome friends, I am Professor Ashish Agrawal from School of Engineering and Technology. I am the Program Coordinator for Postgraduate Certificate in Inventory Planning and Warehousing System, which is a 6 months duration program in Indira Gandhi National Open University. Till now we have covered the introduction part of this program. This program has 4 courses. 3 are theory courses and 1 is your project courses. Under the theory courses, the first one is Introduction to Inventory Planning and Control. We have discussed that what is inventory and why it is maintained, what are the different functions of inventory. In today's session, our learning objective will be to explain you the objectives of inventory planning and control, what is the importance of inventory planning and control for an industry, for an organization, and as an individual for you or for anybody else. What are the scope of inventory planning and control, and the last but not the least, what are the symptoms of a bad inventory planning control and good inventory planning and control. So let me first explain you or share my views that what are the objectives of inventory planning and control. We have heard at many places about supply chain management, logistic management, as well as inventory planning and control. The first important objective of any inventory planning and control technique is to minimize the capital investment. What we are doing in inventory planning, we are simply trying to minimize the wastage. We do not want to have the excessive stock of those items which are not required. We have also to ensure the availability of needed inventory. Suppose you need a certain inventory, certain item, certain stock of item at particular time. That is called the ensuring the timely availability of that particular item, so that production should not be interrupted or the production remain uninterrupted, and the ultimate goal is to meet the customer demand. Third most important objective is to have the scientific basis for the planning of inventory control. You can plan inventory in a very layman type of things. You know that there is a consumption of 10 items per day. You can have 12 items or you can have 30 items, but that is not a scientific way. Scientific way is that what you have and how much optimum you can use within 1 hour, 2 hour or 3 hour. So you will try to manage the inventory on this scientific basis. Fourth important objective is, because there is always a demand fluctuation in the market. Sometimes there is a hype in the demand, sometimes it is a lower side of the demand. This is called the tide. So we have to minimize the fluctuation of customer demand. Another important point which is explained in your self-learning material is to brief you the importance of inventory planning and control. In the first slide, we have discussed what are the objectives of inventory planning and control. Now In this slide, we will focus what is the importance of inventory planning control. The first important thing that we want to keep the inventory accurate. What does it mean, the accuracy? That means we should know that what is the speed of consumption, what is the exact speed of consumption, and what is the exact speed of arrival of those items from the supplier end. That is called the making the inventory accurate. Second importance is that we have two strategies, that is just in time philosophy, which is a very famous concept adopted by Toyota Motors, that works on the pull strategy. That means we will work for the minimization of waste. How we will focus on the minimization of waste? When we try to pull the demand or the production. We are not throwing or we are not pushing the production. We are simply pulling the production. That is called as a just in time. There are many other things just like Pokayako, where if there is any problem in the assembly line or in the manufacturing line, we stop immediately. We do not want that the defect should continue for a longer time. If there is a problem, we will stop, we will rectify the problem. That is called the just-in-time management. Third importance is that when you try to minimize the waste, minimization of waste in all respect, then what will happen? You are reducing the defect, you are improving the quality. And fourth importance is that you are minimizing the administrative load, because what was happening earlier, we are making a bulk order. We required the 100 item, but we will make the order for 10,000 items. So what is happening? There is an unnecessary administrative load, there is a observation load, there is a holding cost involved. So all this makes the administrative cost or the administrative load at a heavier. So the importance of the inventory planning and control, that it keeps the inventory accurate, it will enable the just-in-time, quality control will be better, and the most important thing, you will going to minimize the administrative load. Third important point, which you will read in your self-learning material, which is given and it is available at eGyan course. There are about several scope of inventory planning and control, just like inventory tracking, stock control, order management, forecasting and demand planning, supplier management, reporting and analytics, warehouse management, then integration with other systems, and compliance and regulatory requirement. We will study one by one. We are not taking a very exhaustive type of a study, but we want to make you aware about these terms. Now, when we talk about the inventory tracking, it means we want to track the inventory. How you will track? There are several gadgets are available, just like RFID, radio frequency identification device, where with the help of the computer, with the help of a laser based machine gun, we can identify, we can track where we have the inventory, what is the quantity of inventory. That is called the inventory tracking. This type of system allows business to track the movement of inventory, how the inventory is moving from one end to another, that is the receiving, storing, shipping, of the goods. Then second important scope is the stock control. That means we are going to help in maintaining the optimal stock. It should not be overstock, it should not be understock. It should be within minimum and the maximum. It should give you alert when it goes down, it is reaching towards the understock. Even if it is going overstock, it will give you alarm, so that you have a better control on the stock. Third scope is the order management. When you have a accurate inventory tracking, you have a stock control. So basically by order management, you are reviewing the orders. If you have to see whether you want to invest in the holding cost or you want to purchase in bulk, so you are increasing the minimizing the order cost but increasing the holding cost. This is called as the order management. Here one important term which will come in your mind is to manage the back order. Suppose you have given certain order in January for purchase, suppose 100 items, and in February again 100 items. Now in March you will see that the order which you have made for 100 items, how many orders you have received. If you have received 50 orders in January and 50 orders in February, that means 100 orders are still pending. So in March, you will not make the order of 100 items. It will be quite less. Even it may be zero also, unless and until you receive. That is called the order management. Fourth important scope is the forecasting and the demand planning. In any inventory management technique, forecasting system plays an important role, because here we have to analyze the historical data. On the basis of the historical data, we forecast the future demand. We will predict the future demand. We will analyze the error in our forecasting. That is called as a forecasting and the demand planning. This is one of the important scope for the inventory planning and warehousing system. Another important scope is the supplier management. Inventory cannot be effectively managed unless and until you have a effective supplier management system. You have a one-to-one dialogue with the supplier. You have to include them in your day-to-day meetings. You should also brief your future plan, your partnership, your collaboration with, or your future plan of expansion. Also, under the supplier management, the term is your supplier performance tracking. Suppose you have a 5 to 10 suppliers for one item. Who is supplying on time? What is the defect rate from each supplier? That all comes under the supplier management. Another scope is reporting and analytics, because once you have a data comes in a huge way. You have a performance indicator, you have a stock turnover, carrying cost, order accuracy. So basically all the data which are available that enables you in having the better decision making. That comes under the scope of reporting and analytics. Another important scope or the significant scope is warehouse management, because it is not always possible to keep the zero inventory. you have to keep certain items in your warehouse. So you have to manage the capability of the warehouse. You have to have the certain tracking techniques for the bin location tracking, picking and packing, optimization, and the inventory replenishment. That if certain items is going below, you have to replenish it. That comes under the warehouse management. Warehouse management is another important, you can say, subject of your program, which has the quite exhaustive units on this system, where you will study the warehouse management system in detail. But in short, you should understand that it is one of the important scope of inventory planning and control. That means warehouse management is not different other than inventory planning. Another important scope is integration with other systems. Now, in every organization, ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning, is available. So what is the need of the hour? That your all the inventory techniques or the planning should be well integrated with ERP. That means if I am sitting on a computer with ERP enabled, I should be able to know what is going on at my shop floor, how the inventory is exhausting or consuming, and not only this thing, we have to go beyond this. We should also know that how much quantity of the unit or the item is coming from which supplier, and what is the probability of reaching these items at our shop floor or at our warehouse system. This is called the integration with other system. Another significant scope is compliance and regulatory requirement. There are certain requirement of a inventory planning that you should not store or the items which are hazardous in nature. Similarly, there are two techniques, FIFO, first in, first out, and last in and last out. This is based on certain concept which you may have studied earlier in your graduation. So what is the main thing is that we have to adopt the compliance and the regulatory requirement. Now comes you the important point, that is the responsibility for inventory. As a manager, what will be your responsibility? There are two things. One is monitoring and second one is your implementing. Monitoring, you have to watch at several places how the workman or the employee is taking care of the inventory. And if there is certain policies, there are several policies just like vendor management inventory or review policy or continuous replenishment policy. All these things we have to implement. That depends upon how you are monitoring and what you are implementing. So in short, if I say that the responsibility of the inventory planning is purchasing and making inventory control for the finished good, because for a car manufacturer the final product is the car. Similarly, for two-wheeler, the two-wheeler is the ultimate or the final project. So in order to provide the high service rate, because in today's market customer is not ready to wait, and fortunately or unfortunately there is a wide variety of items are available in front of customer. So customer can choose. Customer is now becoming a king. So customer will not wait for you, but you should make your strategy that customer should not wait. Whenever he desire, the item should be available to him or her. Now, what are the advantages of inventory planning and control? I will just take in brief. Improving the liquidity, that means if you are not putting your hardcore money in a unnecessary or wasteful items, then what you are doing, you are simply liquidating, or you are having the more liquid money at your end. Ensure smooth production. If your inventory items are rightly available at right time, that means your production is not going to hamper. It will facilitate regular and timely supply to the customer. If your inventory is proper, you are getting the inventory at proper time, you will also satisfy your customer. Fourth important advantage is you are protecting the firms against the unnecessary variation in the raw material, because you are predicting or visualizing each type of fluctuation in the demand as well as in the supply. The inventory planning and control will facilitate production scheduling. It will avoid the shortage of material. It will also avoid the duplicate ordering. It will also help in minimizing the losses due to deterioration, because if you are purchasing a huge quantity, the item will deteriorate with time. Another important, it will enable the firm to take the advantage of price fluctuation. What it will do, when the price is lower, it will buy in the bulk. That is called, it will enable the firm to take the advantage of the economic for the lot buying. Now, we have discussed several advantages, we have discussed the scope, but what are the limitations? First important limitation is that it cannot eliminate the business risk. Business risk means if there is a fluctuation due to natural disaster or man-made disaster, we are not going to manage with the help of even best inventory planning and control. The control of inventory is a complex and it is a expensive matter. It is not very easy and very cheap. It involves lot of human effort as well as lot of techniques. So inventory management or inventory planning and control is a complex. Though we have discussed it, but in short, I am going to provide you some discussion on the type of inventory. Inventory can be classified on the basis of two criteria. One is on the basis of demand, that is independent inventory and dependent inventory. Independent means which is not dependent on anything else. Suppose number of car, it will not depend on any other product. But if I take the number of tires, it will depend how many car you are manufacturing. So number of tire is a dependent inventory, dependent demand inventory, while number of car is independent demand inventory. Then on the basis of nature, just like raw material, work in process, finished and MRO. This we have already discussed and they are very simple in nature. They will come again and again in my session. That is why I have just recalled you that these are the items which will give you a plenty of things. Now, what are the symptoms of the poor inventory? If inventory management is poor, it will kill your time. You will be hurting your reputation because you are overselling and overstocking. You will always put yourself in a very, very problematic situation because your forecasting is not accurate. you are not able to make the data collection. Similarly, at warehouse, you are not able to keep the inventory in a proper shape. You have a obsolescence of the inventory. Inventory is deteriorating day by day. So, and you are not meeting the expectation of the customer. Sign of good inventory. The first is you do not have the any excess inventory, high rate of inventory turnover, and the third one is you are able to meet the customer expectation. When you do not have, you have a proper inventory management system, you will have the least excess inventory. Whatever inventory or whatever items you are getting, it is based on some scientific data, so you will or your company will be able to consume it within time. You do not have the older product, so you are not worrying about the wastage. Another important symptom is the high rate of turnover, inventory turnover. Inventory turnover means how many times you are turning your inventory. If it is more, you are in an advantageous position. If you have a one inventory turnover in a year, you are bad. If you are 10 inventory turnover, you are good. Even 100 is much better. So what we have learned? We have learned about the importance of inventory. We have also learned about the scope. What are the symptoms of good and the bad inventory? I trust my session, which is based on the complete block of the your course MWR001, that is Introduction to Inventory Planning and Warehousing System, will be useful to you in learning and acquiring more knowledge for the further blocks in your program, that is PG Certificate in Inventory Planning and Warehousing System. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you wish to be part of a television studio like this or any other media system? Or already part of any media system, want to enhance a new set of skills? Welcome to School of Journalism New Media Studies. Here in the School of Journalism New Media Studies, we are